Well, good afternoon. Good afternoon and welcome to another CSU Bakersfield SBDC Webinar Wednesday. Good afternoon, I'm Kelly Bearden. I'm going to be your host today as we look at managing your small business beyond the pandemic webinar series, number 132, since we started in March of 2020, this series. Got a great guest today. Got Lani Lott in the house talking about finishing up strong in the fourth quarter. And let's get on and do a little bit of business before we bring her out. So what is up today? Today, September 21st, 2022. Well, I can't let a September 21st go by and at least acknowledge or recognize my father who was born that day. 94 years ago. I love you, Dad. Miss you. And if he was here today, he would say, hey, this is great news. The pandemic is over. That's right. How long does the pandemic last? Well, this is the 132nd consecutive live Wednesday webinar, so it's been 132 weeks, over 2.5 years, and this week it was declared over. So the pandemic is over. Problems and issues and solutions for small businesses are not, though. And we're going to touch on a little bit of all over the board with that, with some of the issues and some of the problems and some of the solutions that are out there. Our economic corner is going to actually focus on the higher interest rates that are coming, obviously. We'll talk about some of the things that are going on at the economic level right now. The Fed did raise the interest rates, the Fed fund rates up to 3.25%. That's a jump of 75 basis points, 3/4 of a point as expected, the third consecutive increase of 3/4 of a point. So that could mean if you have variable loans that those rates are going to be increasing. Mostly, typically loans that are not fixed by nature are subject to when the cost of interest rates go up, and it's going to try to slow down this economic system that we have that is still running good, even though rampant inflation and some of the other things. But economic corner, we'll touch on a little bit more on that area. We touched on a new job training program last week. I'm just going to mention that again and give you an update on the other related programs. Our Capital Quarter is gearing up for our Eastern Sierra Capital Summit. On the Eastern Sierra this week, been spending a lot of time in other programs and meeting with clients and consultants that we have on the East Side. A lot of our electeds and also some of our community leaders in. And it's been great this week over here as we get ready and gear up for the Eastern Sierra Capital Summit. You know, we've talked about the State Small Business Credit Initiative, which, you know, I think has one of the worst acronyms ever, SSBCI. But the SSBCI initiative is rolling out soon, and we're finally getting places. We might have actually all of the programs covered by that actually presented at the Capital Summit. So really a first look as really these are just now being finalized by the U.S. Treasury and with the state of California. The boards of both the Pollution Control Authority and the iBank are going through their final approval processes, and these funds are rolling out, and they're rolling out really soon, finally. Our marketing moment with our marketing Maven Marine is back. And as always, we will take your questions at the conclusion of the webinar today. And also we will have a poll for you. So let's jump into a poll. And, you know, obviously we've been talking a lot about consumer prices, inflation, some of the issues that are going on. So let's put a different favorable spin in the wake of long-term poor economic news. So our poll question today is, it's about consumer prices. You know, in August of 2021, over the last year, inflation has been judged at 8.2%. That's the rise in consumer prices. At over 20%, which of the following has had the biggest drop in prices? Is it prescriptions? Is it smartphones? Or is it zoo admissions? So what we're looking at, you know, oil has gone up 67% in the last year, and that's contributed to the 8.2%. On the entire opposite spectrum, one of these three items have dropped over 20%. Which product has had that dropped? Is it prescriptions? Is it smartphones? Or is it zoo admissions? And I can tell you right now, You are evenly split on this. This is fantastic. A really kind of a horse race. Is it going to be prescriptions, smartphones, or zoo admissions? Okay, we're going to give you one last moment to jump in. Then we're going to end the poll and we're going to find out which of these items has decreased by over 20% in the last year. And here we go. Sharing the results. Prescriptions 43%, and then a tie at 29% with smartphones and zoo admissions. And, I think I would have put prescriptions, but the correct answer is smartphones. Smartphones have gone down 20% from its high of, or it's the prices back in August of 2021. Kind of interesting, but it is actually smartphones. So I guess those of you that have bought a phone in the last year, maybe you know that, trying to figure out why that has happened. Did Apple have a big launch a year ago and it's softened prices in the last year? Competition, but anyway, that's it. Smartphones. Okay, that's our one poll question for today. Let's move right along. And let's just give a quick key program status update. I believe the California Performing Arts Grant is still open. And if you want any information on that, nonprofit grants, $49.5 million, you need to see landistry.com. The California Dream Fund, we're still taking applicants for the California Dream Fund. That is $5,000 or $10,000 to start your business. And it goes through the training, also some consulting and a business plan. Contact us at SBDC at csub.edu. EIDL loans are starting to actually require payments. So the deferral period is ending for many people, and there's a setup process and other things. And also remember with the EIDL loans, there's a little issue that could get in the way if you're looking to ever expand and you have that EIDL loan, and that is that you do have, that is a secured loan. And it could be secured only with a blanket of your assets with no specific assets mentioned. But if you ever go to sell any of your business assets, you need to call the SBA and find out if there are any conditions or any issues that they want you to do beforehand. Talked about the state small business credit initiative, the micro grant program, the California micro grant program here in Kern County is open, and it's going to be opening through November. So there's still plenty of time to get your application in. Right now, the application process is a newer application that came out in your attestation. At times, there have been requirements for tax returns and other things. So there have been different underwriting possibilities during the time that it's been open. But right now, it is an a 2-page, 1-page, 2-sided. So it's a 1-page, 2-sided application. Sign it, get it in, still plenty of time. Also in Mono County, there's still the forgivable grant and loan program, and the employee retention credit remains open as well. So a little bit we talked about last week was this new Golden State Education and Training Program, and it's $500 million, and it really kind of benefits individuals that are either in training programs or going to school, and they had their jobs lost or cut because of COVID-19 pandemic. So there is a grant for $2,500 to reskill and to kind of reposition these particular individuals to make them much more attractive in the labor market. And everybody still seems to be looking for employees. So more employees is always good. There's a number of the eligibility applicants, your eligibility requirements that you're going to have. You have had to be displaced, you're in a training program, unable to obtain employment with an average wage that was equal to or more that you received. And there's the kind of the information right there, GSCTP at csAC.ca.gov. So that's where you need to apply online. And again, this is more for individuals that are looking for training, kind of a training stipend in order to make themselves more attractive in the job market. So the economic corner today, a lot of news is the Fed did have, and they geared up for higher rates as they raised the federal funds rate, which is the fund rate that they charge other institutions such as banks. So it's kind of like an overnight rate that they will charge all the major banks. That hovered near zero for the last 2 years, and now it is up to 3.25%. So if your banks are getting the money at 3.25%, and then they're adding their cost and a profit in order to lend it out, that continues to raise it generally by the same amount that the Fed raises rates. So look for about a 0.75% increase in any of your variable loan products. So today also, Wall Street bankers are meeting before Congress, and they're going to be doing that the next 2 days. 7 of the largest banks are actually in testimony before Congress on the economy. The early testimony that has come out of there is many of them doubt that there is going to be potentially a soft landing. So you remember, our soft landing is our desired outcome for the economy. It is where we're able to control inflation without throwing the economy into a recession. The Federal Reserve is on the record for saying that they are going to control inflation no matter what they have to do, even if it is to cause employment to go up, unemployment to go up, and also other factors that would kind of demonstrate a recession. So our soft landing of landing softly after fixing inflation, early testimony today doubts that they think that that is going to happen. Our Capital Summit is coming up. We're really excited about this, to have an in-person and also free live cast event. And that is going to be 2 weeks from Friday on October 7th. Really, we have a great program, some outstanding loan programs that have never really been fully introduced, never have been actually accessed. There's more other programs. We'll be talking about more of the participants, but there's going to be those that talk about debt and those that talk about equity, about capital programs. But really, you're going to see about 30 or 40 of the best programs out there, some of the great presenters that have been at our Eastern Sierra Capital Summit and also our Kern County Capital Summit. But right now, Friday, October 7th, mark it on your calendar. We are anticipating a full house at Siracosa Community College in Bishop for the 60 in-person slots that are available. And also, we do have unlimited amount of people that can attend on Zoom via the internet. So a hybrid event coming up, our East Kern Capital Summit, which we've had before, but this is the Eastern Sierra Capital Summit. We talked about this a little bit, and we'll be talking about this a lot during the summit. So let's switch over to Maureen for a quick marketing moment with our marketing maven, Maureen. Take it away.
Thanks. Good morning. Well, I guess it's afternoon, isn't it? Anyway, alrighty. Let's see here. So I'm going to be, I know you're not used to this, Kelly, brief, but we're going to talk a little bit about Google Analytics. There's going to be changes coming to Google Analytics. Not everybody is familiar with it, but if you're not, I strongly urge you from a marketing perspective that you want to familiarize yourself with Google Analytics and use it with your website. Not every platform, platform will use Google Analytics, but in my opinion, this is probably one of the better ones. It tells you all kinds of things that you would ever want to know about people who are visiting your website, how they get there, the different pages. But we'll be talking about it more down the line. I just want to get this on everybody's radar. So here's what the changes are going to be. They're going to switch over to what's called Google Analytics 4 in July of next year. Why is that important? They're just going to make a bunch of changes that, these guys always do. Anyway, what you need to do is get it on your radar, back up your data before July. I would suggest maybe by the end of this year. Make sure that you are an administrator on both your website and in the Google Analytics account. And I'm going to go over all this when we have another time where I've spent a lot more time on it. I've had more than one client recently where they're not on either one of them, and that creates problems, especially if whoever you have as your webmaster leaves. I've had one client one time where the person who was controlling it would not give him control back, and it was pretty bad. Anyway, and then if you do have a webmaster, make sure, and you are using Google Analytics, make sure they're aware of this. Not everybody is aware that It's going to go to what they call, UA or Universe. Let me think. It's Google Analytics 4 is what they're going to do next year in July. So more to come, Kelly. That's all I've got today.
Well, great. Great. Thank you, Maureen. And that brings us to our YouTube topics of interest. All of these webinars end up on YouTube. Here's some of them that are on here at this particular point. We'll probably be replacing a number 111 because our cybersecurity expert, Mr. Bill Britton, will be back next week with Henry Danielson about some of these incredible threats that are going on right now with cybersecurity. But these are just some of the, what I like to call some of the oldies but goodies that are on there. But they're about every webinar, CSUB, SBDC, YouTube, subscribe. Okay, let's get our special guest in here. And our special guest today is Ms. Lani Lott. Lani is the president of L&L Consulting with over 28 years of working in the field, downtowns, economic revitalizations with SBDCs, working in communities, a lot of different consulting services and technical assistance, working with policies, objectives, targeting and fostering partnerships, long-term sustainability, organizations effectiveness, really a marketing guru from day one. Prior to starting L&L Consulting, she was a senior consultant with the firm Burns Consulting, located throughout or in California, oftentimes throughout. During her tenure at Burns Consulting, she was the lead project manager. And boy, I'll tell you, I know you learned a lot during those years. Kent Burns was an incredible individual, consulting and business-wise. We all learned a lot from him. Lani has her Bachelor of Science degree in Public Administration from CSU Sacramento. Lani, great to have you back. It's been a long time. Take it away.
Thank you, Kelly. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. Do I need to? Yes, I guess do that. Can you see my screen, my PowerPoint? Is it up and going?
You can see your PowerPoint.
Thank you, Maureen. You're so great. You're keeping us honest today. I appreciate that.
Sorry about that.
That's okay. So we're going to talk about something a little lighter, marketing. Great information, Kelly and Maureen. Thank you. I'll be watching for that Google Analytics. They're always changing stuff, aren't they? Just kind of keeps our businesses on their toes. So I'm going to touch on some points on how Q4 is almost here, if not already for many of us, and how to really kind of leverage your marketing efforts, your online shop, all of those pieces that go into that Q4 and trying to really end 2022 strong and profitable. So let's talk a little bit. I love that Kelly said that the pandemic is over and Q4 is coming. And so we're still experiencing quite a few changes, recovery, pivoting for our businesses. And I'm there with you. I'm continually having to redefine the ways that I deliver my services. But I have to tell you, I did my first in-person webinar for San Luis Obispo a few weeks ago, and I was so nervous. I had not done one since March of 2020. And my biggest issue was, do my clothes still fit? And they did. I was able to squeeze into my dresses. So I was very excited. So with that, what are customers really going to be expecting in 2022? Even though maybe the pandemic is over, we're still recovering from other, lingering issues. And so clean safety and health protocols are still in place. Customers are looking for some of those, not as seriously as we were. Shopping online is still a priority, and our businesses will be shopping a lot online in the last quarter. We have changed their behavior. Consumers' behavior has been shifted, changed forever, in my opinion, since March of 2020. So they are going to be looking for those options, and not necessarily the deals of the century, but the ability to access those products and services that they want, especially if they're wanting to support local or regional businesses or the smaller entrepreneurial mom and pops, as we like to call them. They want the up-to-date information about your business on all of your marketing touch points. Please, if you don't do anything after today's little snippet, go in, check every place that your potential customer or existing customer might need to find out about your business, and make sure it's consistent. Make sure it's up to date. Make sure you have your name, your address, your phone number, your URL to your website or to wherever you're out there on the internet. And just make sure all the links work. Your customers are expecting this, and you may be missing out some valuable sales if they can't reach you in. Customers have a very short attention span, and if your link doesn't work, they're going to move on. A full functioning website, and that is really pretty much your storefront of the future, right? If you don't have a physical storefront, if you've made the transition over to being fully online, or you're a hybrid, or you've always been online, you really need a functioning website. This is where folks are going to learn more about your business, your products, your services, how they can get their hands on those things. They are going to be looking for promotions, discounts, deals for the holiday season, for Q4. And I'm not going to go into detail how you determine what's the right promotion or deal or discount for your particular business or industry, but just pay attention to those margins that you're working within. You don't want to give away the shop, as we would say, but you want to have an incentive that makes it attractive for your customers. That's what they're going to be looking for. They're going to be looking for those return policies being flexible. You may be looking at loyalty programs. Those are coming back. Also gift cards, virtual gift cards. Absolutely need to have them. As a consumer, I like to support local. And if my local business that I want to support is where I want to give the gift and it's miles and miles away from where I live, I am more apt to go there, give that gift card, send it with a beautiful little card to that person. Then they can go and support that local business in their region. Really important. And it's very easy these days to have online gift cards. Products delivered on time and as promised. Customers are expecting this. And I'm just going to say Amazon has changed the behavior again. And it doesn't have to be like come overnight or 2 hours and free shipping and return it within a month. But you need to have some type of policy that you say you're going to deliver it. It's going to be shipped out. It's going to arrive in time. And the shipping fees or delivery fees are fair and equitable. For your local customers, they're going to be looking for personalization, unique products. They want to find things, the locals want to find things that maybe they can't get at the big box, or they can't order easily off another third-party program. So think about the unique products that you can then offer to really kind of set you apart. And then stellar service. And locals or visitors, they want to feel welcomed. They want some shipping options, special services, and then stellar customer service. With that said, they anticipate that, I have this slide in here. This is what you as businesses are going to be expecting. I forgot that I added this slide. I'm so sorry. I was like, whoa. So again, a lot of these are parallel to what customers are expecting. Concerns with supply chains is still there. Maybe not as bad, but still we still have some issues with things not showing up on time. My husband is a picture framer. He has doing a corporate account, and he is having a terrible time. He is having to buy, molding that he needs for frames that are going to be finished in February 2023, and he is stockpiling it because of the supply chain. Online shopping is going to continue to grow. Digital marketing, as we know, is outpacing traditional marketing, and businesses are balancing that. We are still, especially in a lot of our more rural communities, we still depend on some display or print and radio and traditional cable type of marketing. But they're also, all of these publications are offering digital options. And of course, we are all being bombarded with digital marketing, whether it's through our social media platforms or email marketing, which I believe is very important. And so, you're going to need to continue to look at those type of tactics for your business plan. Staffing power is still an issue. When I was walking around San Luis Obispo, and then my mother lives in Visalia, so I was walking around their downtown. I love visiting downtowns when I'm out and about. Every other window had some nice approach to, we're hiring, we're desperate, hiring now, be part of the team, right in their front window, right next to their display. People continue to work remotely, and if you're a business that's located somewhere around and dependent upon a large employer for your customer base, a lot of them have not returned yet. So again, connecting with them virtually and then leading them to either inviting them down to your shop or your restaurant or your attraction or event is key. Local events are slowly returning, but however, we do anticipate with a survey by Numerator is that 85% of people are expected to celebrate normally, with 92% of them by December. So with that said, there's going to be lots of folks in your communities looking for something to do for shopping, eating, going to an event, staying in a hotel or a lodging. And then also, as you prepare for all of that family coming in to visit, you may be looking to get your carpets cleaned, your windows cleaned, and goodness sakes, let's hope not the plumber call after everybody leaves, because I've had that happen. And so with all that said, there's going to be lots of folks. So just to be prepared, as you look at Q4, start to plan out how you're going to maybe take advantage of this opportunity with folks being back in your community. First thing for a strategy is to review what you did in 2021, Q4 2021. Take out whatever you use to track your marketing and look at it, see how it worked for you, what you want to repeat, what needs to be changed, or maybe just skip for this year. And if you haven't been tracking your marketing on some method, whether it's by putting it on a calendar, take the time to just jot down, go back through your social media, comb through all of your marketing records and see what you invested on in, and if you have any kind of way of looking at return on investment. And of course, if you're using Google Analytics with your website and you have an online shop, that is one way. Email marketing, if you're using any kind of email marketing service, they will have your analytics. Social media platforms do. So just kind of take a minute, maybe a half a day, and just comb through it and see where you really, how it produced. And then look at your calendar for this quarter. Start with the national events. If you're going to be participating in Small Business Saturday, either as an individual business or as part of your association or your chamber, you're going to be doing anything with Cyber Monday. Are you going to participate in Giving Tuesday? So those national campaigns are great ways to leverage. A lot of them have downloadable type of marketing that you can then push out for content. Then start to look for regional and local opportunities, especially if you're in a downtown area core or even a strip mall area and you have a collaboration with your other businesses. See how you can leverage any kind of opportunities to really put together a promotional event that'll attract folks. Most of our downtowns all have something during the fall, whether it's a fall fest or even Halloween. Then we move into November. Most of them are doing Shop Small or a Customer Appreciation Day. And then we move right into the classic light parades and holiday lighting events. So just kind of figure out which ones you want to participate in and how you want to participate in. And then you might want to host your own special event, whether that's a girls' night out or a men's shopping evening, or even just your own customer appreciation evening or day, or extended hours, or whatever it might be. Put it on the calendar and start to plan around it. Then lay out your roadmap or your plan for the quarter. Now, you should probably look at doing this every quarter, but I'm talking about the quarter 4. Maybe some of you are, this is your quarter. For others, it may not be. Health and wellness usually looks at the first quarter of the year being their big quarter, because everybody's coming back after the holidays and wants to get healthy, renew that membership. And so look at your quarter, plan it by month, identify your themes, develop a list of promotional offers, and just start to lay it out so that some of it is at least aligned, and you've got a plan before you're in the middle of actually running your business during this time. This image here, I took a screenshot from a Pinterest, because I use Pinterest sometimes for great window displays if I'm talking to my clients about really building that window display or their merchandising display if I'm working with a retailer. And I popped on this one, and then they also had a recap of some of the 12 holiday promotions and marketing campaign ideas. I just listed them there for you just to kind of be a teaser. So this is an example that I threw together of a roadmap. This is just made up stuff. This would be just some themes and how you may look at it, from special events to your overall marketing. If you had a storefront, referral marketing, which is also a big thing, doing some referral or piggyback, we used to call it, promotions. And then reminding yourselves to capture those testimonials and those reviews, which are so important in today's marketplace. Get ready for online sales. If anything we've done over the last 2.5 years of the pandemic, of the past pandemic, I guess I can call it now, and as we've been recovering and pivoting, many of us have launched a online presence. You may not have a full-on blown e-commerce website yet. Maybe you're doing some shop, Facebook introduced their shop in May of 2020, where you can actually shop right off the app. That's great for a starter if you don't have a lot of products. We're still seeing folks sell through eBay or Facebook Marketplace. So wherever you are, just kind of start to think about pushing that out in your marketing and helping remind people and drive people to that ability of that venue or that way of doing business with you. This is one of my favorite bakeries that's up there. I think that's in Bishop. It's just a fabulous bakery. Every time I'm traveling up that beautiful 395, the backs of the Sierras, we stop there, we get some of their great pastries, and then we're on our merry way. And I love that they email in-store pickup orders or mail orders, and you can fill this out, you send it to them, and then they have it ready. So it's not necessarily you have to mail and ship everything. It's, again, having the ability to be having your customers be a little bit more prepared, especially during quarter 4 when things get really busy. When you're thinking about your online shop or presence, stock that inventory, determine your offers that you're going to be pushing out on that shop, optimize your descriptions and use quality photos, and then connect your shop to all of your marketing touch points. Again, making sure that the links work. And then just the last thing is when you're doing shipping out, create a memorable packaging experience so that it's more than just getting it in a brown box and you open it up and there's the product sitting loose. Think about how that presentation may be an extension of your brand. Also a postcard with your QR code or a link to your website, or your social media with a special code for a discount in January, something that's, a comeback promotion. Then leverage all the channels that count, starting with updating every place that you are listed. If you're listed on a chamber directory, if you're listed in a downtown association directory, if you're listed on Etsy, if you're listed on any of these outside internet places, or I don't know, third-party programs as I call them, make sure your listing is working. When I come in to do a webinar into a particular area, I start there to find examples of what I want to showcase, because I showcase local examples of the region I'm speaking in or presenting in. And so many times the link is broken. Your name is there. It says you have a website and a Facebook page or a Twitter or LinkedIn or whatever it is, but the link doesn't work. And that often happens because they may have updated where you have the listing. They may have updated their website, and everything doesn't transfer. So go through everywhere, think about where you're listed, as well as adding new listings. For SEO, for local SEO, for searches, when folks are looking at physically in an area and they're searching for a business, things that really push you up in that search optimization, or your first in the Google listing or the second or the third on that map, is how consistent you are across all of your searchable links, your name, your address, your phone number, your website. Also your review sites, check those out, make sure they're current. Update your website again across all of your pages, make sure your links work, all of your social icons are visible. If you're not using some of them, get them off of there. If you have them all listed there, but you're only using 2, and somebody links on Twitter and you don't come up, or you haven't posted anything since 2016, people are going to think you're not in business, you're not serious, so get rid of them. Engage on social media. Again, lay out your schedule. You can fill out your, you can schedule ahead of time on most of the sites. Make sure all of your features are filled out properly, and leverage as many as appropriate. And then really look at your sharing feature on especially Facebook pages. You can join groups as a Facebook page if the group allows it. Then when you are creating an event on your Facebook page and you want, or LinkedIn, and you want to push it out to a group you belong to, then you can do that easily. So go through and see what groups, if there's a shop, local group, or an eats, if you're a restaurant, an eats group, or doing business in, or upcoming events. A lot of the communities have community pages. These are great places to really promote your events, your hours. And then finally, if you're not have an email marketing campaign, you're not then really using that tool, start to think about it. At least continue to capture those emails. And if you're just starting and you're not using a marketing service program like Constant Contact or MailChimp, or you just really haven't gotten full embraced your one that maybe is through your website, try just doing it small. Once somebody shops with you and you get their email through your point of service or your point of sales program, send them a thank you email immediately. So great to meet you. Thank you for stopping in. Hope that you have a wonderful holiday. And then in your signature block, you've got the links to all of your website and your social media platforms. Amplify paid advertising in Q4. If this is your quarter, this is the time to invest. Absolutely look at some display if it makes sense for you, some more traditional. Most of them are offering digital options. Ask the advertising rep or look for it on their websites. Does the demographic service area match your demographics for your customer base? Is it going to make sense for you to advertise in that particular publication? Most local markets, it does. Look for free listing events where you can list an event free on some of these publications. or on their websites. Look for cooperative opportunities, especially in places where there is a core of businesses, like in a downtown or a visitor destination. Often they have a cooperative advertising program for Q4 that you can buy very affordably. And then events and promotions. Consider how you want to participate. Minimally, if there's an event going on anywhere near your business and you have a storefront, be open. That's all we ask. If it's not the kind of event that, and you don't have the business that really depends on foot traffic, get a new business that's just starting up or an artisan and do a pop-up. Give them a, an opportunity to event. It will enhance the entire event. Still, if you're not located in one of those areas, you still want to support the community. You still want brand awareness, some of the benefits, then sponsor the event. So go in and start to look for what events are being held, when, and start to plan appropriately. This is the bishopvisitor.com with their events. They had a whole bunch listed. Some of them are repeated. And this one is in September, starts next week. It's the Cruisers Fall Colors Car Show. May be appropriate for you, may not, but now is the time to start laying it out on your calendar. And if you do events, go live. Make it, really fun and festive. Do some, touch and go with your customers. And then ask them if it's okay if you repackage it for your content for the next week to really add excitement about your business and get you out there in the marketplace. Finally, I am whipping through this, Kelly. I really wanted to add this one. I thought about this last night as I was sitting thinking about this webinar, that so often as business owners, we are so busy running our business, especially in Q4. If you are one of those sectors that this is your quarter, we run ourselves ragged, right? So, and maybe not even at your business, maybe just the whole family stuff coming in and all the visitors, and maybe you're a part of a community organization and you're volunteering. Plan your downtime. Take some time to think about, when can I have some downtime for just me to recharge. Define and delegate. The hardest thing for us as type A's, business owners, is to delegate. But if you are running an online shop and have a storefront, and you have a robust social media campaign, and you're doing email marketing, and you've got this really robust roadmap that you created, you need to delegate. So think about maybe either delegating your existing staff or hiring up, which is, I know, a challenge, but that will also keep your staff more motivated, diversified. It's really grueling for them to stand for 8 hours on the floor or be meeting the front line and meeting all the visitors and customers all the time. So give them a break. Maybe they go do the fulfillment in your back office, your back area for your online. Breathe. Prioritize what matters. Maybe it's not the best time to do that, new carpet, new windows on November 23rd. That's my birthday, by the way. So maybe prioritize. Maybe you meant to change your windows out in December, but you didn't get quite there. That's okay. Eat good food. Don't skimp on sleep. Disconnect. So like many of us, our business is with us all the time, right? We're all like, oh gosh, how's this social media doing? I need to get in there and do this and that. So maybe when you are home, you need to disconnect either your notifications or just not look at your website for an hour and then work it out. And this means like, take that walk, go to the gym. I walk 3 or 4 times a morning. It's the time I kind of think through everything that I have still to do. What do I need to research for a certain upcoming webinar? And it just gives me that time by myself to think through and regroup. And then finally, I'm going to send this marketing minder to you. It's kind of a little checklist. And this is the checklist that kind of goes with that. So just, again, just kind of walk through, look at your Q4, lay it out. What do you still need to do? You're going to have a branded marketing template for your social media and your email marketing. Is your inventory all ordered, in stock, on its way? Do you need to update your policies for the Q4 for online, or are you going to do something different? And is your staff hired, trained, and ready to handle the demand? And that's it. So I didn't do
Great
bad.
stuff. Great stuff. Real quick, I'm going to go through what's in our chat. If you have any questions for Lani, now's the time to get them in. I'm going to probably bring in Maureen, if Maureen's going to be available in just a minute, and let the marketing people, the marketing mavens, have at it.
Okay.
But real quick, just in your chat box, you'll see the marketing minder that Lani has in there, and also information on the non-performing arts grant, or the nonprofit for performing arts grants. That's a little better. California Dream Fund, the Kern County Micro Business Program, a little bit on the Golden State Education Training Grant Program, and then at the bottom is the Capital Summit registrations. One of those registrations is the Zoom online and the in-person. The in-person, we're gonna have 60 people. I'll serve you some of the finest pastries in this Eastern Sierra with great coffee from Great Basin Bakery. Those that are on Zoom, I'm sorry, I can't do that. So, but there is going to be a 60-person limit in person in Bishop, and that will likely sell out. So that's our chat box. Now I am going to turn it over for questions that Maureen might have, and any questions that you have for Lani. Now is the time.
Well, I think we just touched every point. I don't know.
Great job. Lots to parse through there, Lani. So I had a few questions here that I wanted to kind of go back to, and there's one slide on here I want to have you go back to in just a second. But what do you tell your clients? I want to dive into this a little more with the events that you're talking about doing. I find that my clients, a lot of times, they kind of hyperventilate when we're talking about doing live, like on Facebook, or let's just take Facebook for today. When they're interviewing, like their customers, or they're standing out in front of there, they think it has to be perfect. They get tongue-tied. What kind of advice would you give to our folks listening today on how to go about that and kind of feel more comfortable with it?
Just do it. Well, I think that, I get nervous too, but the more you do it, the easier it becomes. So maybe practice a little bit, maybe hand over the actual running of the video and get somebody maybe that's already done it, another colleague or one of your employees may be more comfortable. Give them the questions. It doesn't necessarily need to be you, right? The business owner. So I would just say that, the thing about social media is you have to have the content. So maybe you don't even want to do a live, maybe you just want to do some videoing and then go back and editing it. Some organizations are doing live remotes, live Facebooks, live streaming. Ask them to come into your store and do it with you, and just, they'll have the questions, they'll make you feel comfortable. So it is really, for those that, pre-record and they have the setup and they're doing it like, on YouTube, and you can see that they've got the background right, that's different than what I'm talking about. So again, it's more like if you think about the old radio days and live remotes, that's what I'm kind of, and if it's not for you this year, but you're going to say in my 2023 marketing strategy, I'm going to do 4 of those this year, that's okay too. It's just that if this is your quarter and you're going through all of the time and expense to be participating in an event, having a pop-up, being at an event, take advantage of that real time that you can do during that, then that will invite them back to your shop the next week.
you know, the flip side to some of this, because I'm thinking in particular through the holidays, is then we want to get more of a buzz going, right?
Mhm,
So you've
mhm.
got your business, and we have a lot of restaurants I know that listen to this, but who, and then our downtown folks and everything, but where you want to get the customers to where they're putting it out there too.
Right, the share.
Right.
Yes,
There's
yes.
also where they're maybe, you know, going through, I know I've got one client where he's got a whole setup in his office where people can take a picture of him and post it on Facebook,
Right.
Instagram. So why don't you talk a little bit about that? And I've even had some of them ask, you know, can we do like a contest with it, especially if it's
Mhm.
tied into like Thanksgiving, Small Business Saturday, Christmas, that kind of thing.
Yeah, the selfies are really were popular for a while. My daughter just opened up a shop, a Mexican market that has full-on market, food, retail up in Nevada County, Grass Valley, California, just opened September 6th. And they created as part of their full storefront and business model was an outside selfie that has the brand name up above it. So yeah, so when you are asking for, and we call this user generated content, and ask for the tag, you've got to tell your customers if there's a certain hashtags that you're wanting them to use and to tag you. And if they do you have permission to retag? So they absolutely want to encourage that. That is how the social media mushroom grows, is sharing content. You can also have a branded YouTube channel for your business and load up all your videos on your branded YouTube and then have that real simple link. You don't have to, absolutely have it on Facebook. And if you don't want to put it on there all the time, it gets lost. So you have several ways that you can do it, but you are right, Maureen, you're talking about creating the buzz. And not only are you creating the buzz for your own business, it's also for maybe the community event you're participating in. Ask a couple neighboring businesses if they want to do it together. And maybe one of them is more comfortable and say, hey, I'll go in with you on it. We could do this, during the event that we have here. And especially for restaurants that are maybe anchored next to retail, that are anchored next to something, another business that's more service-based, but they want to come in and have a piece of it. So then now we have this host energy.
That's a great idea. I like that, especially, that what you get when you have people banding together and putting something together like that. I like that.
Yeah. And I know QR codes have I'm seeing them come back. A lot of organizations are using them now. And the QR code, of course, it's easy to use with your mobiles. And if a business has the QR code, and then they can take a picture of it right there when they're doing the tagging, and then it kind of helps with getting them to the right place.
That's true. Of course, I think that depends on your target market and what age. Don't you think of people at a certain age are more likely to use the QR code? No?
I think the more you communicate and get it out there, we do it.
Oh, no, I'm not suggesting not using it. I'm just talking about you've got to be able to satisfy people on both sides of that.
Oh, yeah. That goes, we have so many different generations that are out there visiting our communities and doing business with. And like I have a 44-year-old and she does things very different than my 26-year-old. My 26-year-old will not shop or go to a dentist or anything without looking and vetting all their review sites. Where my 44-year-old, she don't care. She just drops it and goes. And if they, she doesn't even look at, she's not even on Facebook. Right. And she's a local shopper, but she's in that kind of mindset. So me, I'm all over the page.
That's what we do, though.
That is what we do.
So one other thing I'm thinking of, and probably everybody gets tired of me hammering away on this, but the Google My Business, which is now going to be called Google Business Profile, right? And I'm sure you talk with a lot of people about that in their local area. If they're going to have an event, that's free posting on there too, right? I mean, could you talk a little bit about not leaving that out in your whole channel of distribution for getting the message out?
Oh, I think you touched on it, when a lot of what I have found, and maybe some of your clients are this way too, they signed up for Google My Business or Google My Business Profile, whatever they're going to call it. And they get confused. They can't remember what their password is. They haven't gone in there. Their hours, maybe they got in there and said they were closed during the pandemic. Now they can't remember it, and it's that postcard. And so it is a little cumbersome. However, it is one more listing. And with search, I was doing a webinar on trends for 2023 and really talking about the local SEO. And
Right.
you really need to be consistent and be on those local sites to get that, be up there in number 5 listing or number 1 listing. And they said, go in, Google your business, clear out your browser, Google your business and see where you pop up. If you don't pop up, we've got issues. And the same thing is like, it's changing. And how do we get in there and activate it, update it? Same with Facebook. Their pages are going to the new experience. And when I was, looking through the Facebook pages for this webinar, some are on the new pages and some are on the old. So there's a whole change there that's happened. So I don't know if I answered your question right, Maureen, but you can work with your clients.
I know, but just for the sake of people who are on here, I mean, I'm envisioning for the holiday time for 4th.
Yeah.
Luscious pictures. You can already tell I'm thinking of cinnamon rolls and pasta and, all the yummy stuff that's out there to have these mouth-watering.
Oh, for food and beverage, absolutely. Absolutely. And then food and beverage have online shops now for their branded merchandise, make great presents, great gifts. And they all have gift cards. Who does not want a gift card to a restaurant?
No kidding. Your thing is to have a gift card.
Yeah, or a membership at the health club that starts in January 2023.
All right, well, it looks like Kelly's gonna take over now. We've had our fun.
Yes, thank you so much.
This has been great stuff.
Yeah, you girls are a lot of fun. I got to tell you.
Hey, marketers always are.
That's right.
Us finance guys just can't get that far down the road.
I know, you're pretty dry.
Yeah, no kidding.
Well, I guess on that note, we will end up webinar number 132, Managing Your Business Beyond the Pandemic, and be back next week. Our guests next week are going to be Bill Britton. Bill is the Cal Poly IT manager, a really cybersecurity expert, along with Henry Danielson. And really, if you really want to Google something interesting this week on cybersecurity, look what happened with Lyft with Uber, and the threat that they had from an international chain. And I'm hoping this comes up next week. So a lot of cybersecurity threats. They're getting down to our small businesses. We really need to protect ourselves. We got the dynamic duo of Bill Britton and Henry Danielson next week. And Lani, thank you so much. Great having you back.
It was great. And maybe someday I'll see you in person.
There's a chance. And I'm really glad Thanksgiving isn't on your birthday this year.
I know, right? I hate pumpkin pie. So thank you. I'll see you guys later.
Maureen, always a pleasure. So thank you everybody for attending, and we'll be back next week. So have a great week and we'll see you then. Bye-bye.